All right, what's up, guys? We are live. Audio looks good. I just had a complete meltdown of the new computer I got here, so I had to reboot, which is why it took a few minutes to get back in. But seems like it's working. If the stream dies for whatever reason, that's probably why. Um, Talking about breaking free from pain is a mandatory part of every man's life, every person's life, every woman's life. Suffering should be optional. So this is what we're going to kick off with today. Then I shall drop the join link about halfway through, and you guys can call on in and ask some questions if you like. Just make that filter a little bit better there. What's up? Chat looks like it's working. What's up, Jerry? So, look, pain, eh? You know, I was thinking about this earlier today because I get a lot of guys that are all like, a lot of pain with this and that in their life, and it's, you know, life is a little harder if you're a dude. Let's be honest. It's not as easy as flashing some skin and some curves, and everybody's your friend. Everybody nods your head and throws you some money. Um, sometimes watch some of this stuff that is fed to me, and I'm always amazed what the YouTube algorithms will send. It's like the difference between the sexes and what men and women sort of deal with. And I mean, there's one common thing is pain, frustration, obstacles, whatever it is you want to call it, difficulties are always going to come your way. And it's not just humans that deal with it; all animals deal with it. Every single animals deal with it. It's very very common. It's how you deal with it, and humans generally deal with it pretty poorly. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about some ways to deal with it a little bit better. Before we kick off into that, I just wanted to make a recommendation. Only for the section where Chris Rock covers Will Smith slap in the Jada Pinkett thing, because I think it's hilarious. You're starting to see it show up on social media everywhere because I think it was just released on Netflix this past weekend. But go watch that stand up and just go to that part where he's talking about the Will Smith thing. It's a very good laugh. I don't know that Chris Rock's comedy got any better except for that one area. One of his best ones, was it Rock or Tucker? I think it was Rock that did Never Scared. Great one. Anyway, small recommendation. So let's start off with life form suffering because I got a bunch of notes over here. Here I want to share this with you. Here we go. And present on screen and share. I don't think you need audio for this because you can see enough of it. How do I make this fill up the screen a little bit more? Maybe like this. Does that work? That'll work a little bit better, I think. Okay. So Lauren Green's New World Wilderness. Do you guys ever watch that shit when you were a kid? This is what this reminds you. Like this is life, like every form of life suffers. Mama and little baby deer thing are just going for a stroll in the woods and they get ambushed by the lioness. Of course, it's a lion, like some kind of safari in Africa. Boom. I'm not going to play the audio. I don't need to feed you the audio, but you know, little Bambi here is making some noises that you probably don't want. This is life. Life includes pain. It's just a grim reality of the universe, man. Whatever it is you want to call it. Shit comes and goes. Dinosaurs dealt with some serious pain when the fucking asteroid hit the earth, right? Wiped them all out clean. Every form of life suffers. You're not unique. You're not special. You're not, some kind of like leprechaun, rainbows and butterflies, special breed of whatever. You're like anything else on this earth. You're alive. You breathe the air. At some point, we all wrap up. Every human is going to suffer. Every human experiences obstacles. One of the things that I don't know if it's my granddad or my dad that told me this first. It might have come vis-a-vis my granddad, down on my dad, but he always said something along the lines of, "There's always somebody out there that would be happy to trade places with you." So Doesn't matter what you're moping about, what you think you've got pain in, whatever it is it might be, making your day, your week, your month, your year shit, or whatever it is you want to call it. I guarantee there's not just one, there's probably not a dozen, there's probably not 100, there's probably not 1,000, but probably tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that would trade their shitty life, their worse off circumstances for whatever it is that you're complaining about right now. So perspective is an important thing to consider here. Again, every human experiences obstacles and suffering. Um, One of the grand mistakes that I hear a lot of people make is they seem to think that life is against yours, trying to sabotage your happiness. There was a three-letter acronym that was used a lot. I don't see it too much anymore, but it was used a lot maybe 10, 15 years ago. FML, which stood for F my life, right? Something bad would happen, pain would come your way, suffering, something didn't go well, FML, that was like an abbreviated text form that got sent around all the time. And it's like, the crowd that's like, "Oh, God is against me, fuck my life," life really isn't trying to sabotage anything for you. Realistically, more often than not, a lot of the how can I put this without hurting too many snowflakes? It's probably your fault. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, you the vast majority of problems that you're dealing with your life, it's probably your fault, okay? There's rare circumstances where it's not your fault, where you end up dealing with some shit, and it's like, "Okay, that one wasn't my" I have 30 burns, like, on my chest here. This happened when I was a toddler. I was, like, a year and a half, pulled a kettle of hot water on myself, you know? I don't have any memory of it. Thankfully. That wasn't my fault, I'll admit that. But pretty much everything beyond that point, when you have consciousness, when you have memory, when you have some decision-making capacity, if you're a 10-year-old and you're ripping, um so my first skateboard, so, this is a great story because my parents have a picture of me on their wall with these 3 scars down my, face, forehead, and, like, slashes down my nose. Because when I got my first skateboard, I don't know, I think it was grade 5 or something like that, but they have, like, literally the school picture because I did it 3 days before the school picture happened, so the class picture and, like, the headshot, there I am with the big scars on my face, and, I was on my knee and I was pushing up the driveway and I hit a rock and I went flying over the skateboard and smashed my face into the ground. That was my fault. It's not my parents' fault for not sweeping the driveway clear of stones. That was a lesson that I needed to learn. Pretty much everything we do in our life, when we deal with chaos, when we deal with pain, when we deal with something that doesn't go our way, it's our fault. And you can either learn from it or you can lose. You can just sit there and complain about it. Just trying to cross off some of these talking points that I made here for today. Yeah, so your mind is one of your biggest obstacles too, to be honest with you, because I don't I don't know how many movies I've seen this used in, but it's an old story about the wolf of light and the wolf of darkness, right? And the question goes, um, which one wins in combat, essentially, the wolf of light or the wolf of darkness? And the answer to the question is always whichever one you feed, right? So a lot of the times, chaos, problem, pain, something that comes your way, it's usually a result of, like which side are you leaning on? Like, are you leaning on greatness? Are you leaning on achievement? Are you leaning on ownership? Are you leaning on winning? Or are you leaning on being a victim, being a little bitch about it, crying, pointing and sputtering at other people and blaming them, for things? Your mind's usually your biggest obstacle. To be honest with you, pretty much everything that you get in your life, all your accomplishments, all your failures, everything pretty much relies on you. There's a lot of people out there today that are blaming the government, their boss, their spouse, their whatever. You know, if it's your boss, well, you chose to work there. You're the one that applied for the job. If it's your spouse, well, you're the one that chose them. Men are the gatekeepers of relationships. You're the guy. It's mostly dudes watching my channel. You're the guy. You made the decision to invite her into your life, right? Government. Well, you can always pick up and move and leave. If you don't like the situation that you're in, right? So use your mind for more productive things, find solutions. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about, choosing a lot of the stuff that comes your way when it comes to pain and suffering. Another point that I wanted to make is making mountains out of molehills, right? A lot of dudes will make big deals out of small things, and I think there's a little bit of a difference with the sexes. Sometimes guys do it more than women, but I think overall, uh, the weaker, softer folks out there, because there's weak and soft men too, for being honest. You know, I'm a victim. This one complaining like zero stuff, right? Like zero sum game stuff, making mountains out of molehills when things don't really need to matter that much. It happens. It happens. A lot of people do it, and it's unnecessary. Make it a big deal out of nothing. Make a big deal out of something. Make a big deal out of something that is going to complicate your life. If somebody you know, puts your life, puts your momentum, puts your business in danger, okay, make a mountain out of that, if you need to, right? Learn how to walk away, identify problem areas, identify problem people. You get better at it as you get older. You're gonna make some mistakes. You're gonna invite some dipshits in your life, maybe in your 20s, probably into your 30s, maybe even into your 40s. You're probably gonna deal with some low value women that are going to complicate your life unnecessarily, definitely in your 20s, maybe in your 30s, probably even some of you into your 40s. I mean, the whole reason why I wrote my book, The Unplugged Alpha, and I put the chapter in there with the 20 red flags to help you guys avoid that stuff. So you're not going to invite pain into your life, which some people like to amplify into suffering. Again, pain is going to be mandatory. Suffering is an option. You don't have to suffer if you don't want to. Um, Eckhart Tolle has a book. I think it's called The Power of Now. I listened to it a long time ago. I think one of the things that stood out is that um, suffering is one of those things where it's like you're refusing to accept a moment in your life. You should be accepting moments in your life as if you created all of them. That's what extreme ownership's about, right? The results I got in my financial life, in my living situation, in my relationship, in my health, in the car I drive. Accept each moment as if you created it. I mean, I've told this story before, but you can go to the grocery store, which we all do, right? Put your buggy, push it around, fill it up, go to the checkout. Play this little game when you're at the checkout and take a look at what's in your buggy, know what you look like. Take a look at what's in the buggy of the guy that's absurdly obese and what they're buying. Take a look at the buggy of the guy or gal that's obscenely fit and what they're buying, right? Accept moments as if you've chosen them because everything that comes your way, still dealing with the subject of health. If you've got shitty health, you have shitty health because you made shitty choices. It's true. Could the government help and remove certain chemicals, seed oils, excessive sugars from food? Sure. But you still have the choice not to buy that shit. You have the choice to pick up something in a grocery store and look at the label and go, "I can't pronounce any of this shit. Fuck it," and then just walk away. You have the choice to do that. You have a choice to pick up broccoli and be like, "There's nothing on the label because it's just broccoli." Put that in your buggy and buy that shit, right? Accept each moment as if you created and chosen it. I want to talk about suffering for a sec. I'm almost done here. We'll be able to get some call-ins in a second. Suffering is a resistance to the pain. What you resist persists, right? So I know that some people out there have a predisposition to a condition called one-itis, which is an unhealthy attachment to a woman, usually. Usually a woman that's no good for you, usually a woman that you're stuck with because you didn't have better choices, usually a woman that you invite into your life because you didn't have better options, which is, fault of your own at the end of the day. But a lot of guys will resist the pain, of what they created in their life. Oh, she betrayed me. She cheated on me. Look, we've all been there. I've been there. You've been there. A lot of you dudes watching right now, even some of the gals watching. Look, when you resist the pain, the suffering continues, right? What you resist is always going to persist. Lean into it. Made some stupid choices. Why did I invite this crazy bitch into my life? Oh, she had those red flags, and that one too, and this one too. You can here. I'm gonna put the ticker up on the bottom. Get on my email list so you can get the red flag chapter if you don't want to buy the book. It's right here. You can get it for free. All right. She had this red flag. She had that red flag. Oh, okay. Oh, and then I did that when I shouldn't have done that. Oh, and I was simping for her. Oh, and then I did this stupid shit, with her kids or for her kids or whatever, and that amplified the situation. And you kind of sit back and you go, okay, I don't really want to suffer with this anymore. I'm not going to resist this pain. It is what it is. I did it. And you kind of move on for it. And that's how you move on from one itis by taking ownership and evaluating the situation. Guys are incredibly good at rationalizing things. So use that skill. Another thing to do is eliminate the importance of anything that causes pain in your life or things that you perceive to be painful, right? You have air in your lungs? Good. You got food in your belly? Good. You got clean, fresh drinking water? Yep. Got a roof over your head? Yep. Your life's probably better than like I'd say 85% of the world. A lot of the world lives in extreme poverty. They don't have a proper roof over their head. They don't have clean drinking water. They drink shitty water and end up with all kinds of gut diseases and stuff like that. Eliminate the importance of the pain. Doesn't matter. Does this really matter? Does this really matter? Ask yourself that question. Does this person really matter? Do I need to suffer because of what happened here in this transaction dynamic relationship? My boss fired me. My business partner took advantage of me. That bitch cheated on me with Kevin from sales. Whatever it happens to be, right? Eliminate the importance of it. Fuck my boss. I'm going to go do it on my own. I'm going to start up my own company. I'm going to prove them wrong. That's one of the reasons why I started up my debt business, right? I was just looking at the industry and I'm like, fuck those guys. I'm going to do it better. I have a better way to make money. I have a better way to solve this problem. I have a better way to help people, right? Like, use the pain. Don't let it use you. Don't let it own you. Don't let it take over your life. Don't let it consume your bandwidth. Don't let it, become your identity. That's what a lot of people do. It's like, oh, like, I want to see if I can find it real quick on my Twitter feed. I can find it. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. I'm not going to say it because this is how the YouTubes are. But let me see if I can find this real quick. Hard to swallow pills. Oh man, there's so much of this out there. Where's the hard to swallow pills that I came across the other day? Come on, scroll, scroll, scroll. There they are. Share on the screen. Oh, my life is miserable. Nobody likes me. Da, 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 da. Everything's difficult. I should have been born this way or that way. It's going to put it up on the screen. Okay. I'm going to take it off the screen. It's kind of the world we live in today. It's like, eliminate the importance of it. Stop fucking around with your life doing stupid things over things that are insignificant and not important. That's really what a lot of us do. I've done it. I have the t-shirt. Been there, done it, have the graduated degree. Trust me. You don't it doesn't need to become you. It doesn't need to be your identity. You don't need to keep making the same stupid mistakes over and over again. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. Stop it. Suffering comes from wanting things to be different. You understand? We want things to be different. We want things to go our way. And if they don't, we have to suffer. No, you don't. You really don't. Find a solution. Find a solution. Or find contentment. Find happiness in it. Eliminate the importance of it. Does it really matter? Is it really worth losing sleep over? Right? Suffering comes from wanting things to be different. Let it sink in. Marinate on that for a minute. Surrender to what it is and stop craving for things to be totally different from what they actually are. Another thing people like to do a lot is attaching suffering to pain. It's like painful. Boom. Oh, now I have to suffer. I get it. We do it naturally, even as children. Stub your toe, your sibling punches you in the eye. "Oh, Billy punched me in the eye. Right? It all starts somewhere. It all starts somewhere for someone, and then you want to attach suffering to that pain. But the reality of it, like parents even know, like when kids have a little spaz and they have a meltdown over hurting their finger or touching something hot, and they drag it on for like a long period of time, longer than what it needs to be. Like they know the pain's gone, like it's enough. Okay, we can stop the charades. We're not trying to win an Oscar here. Nobody gives a shit. You're not going to win an Oscar for attaching your suffering to some painful moment in your life, to some chaos. Stop attaching suffering to pain. You can detach them, eliminate the significance of it. It probably doesn't matter. Guarantee there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people in the world out there that probably exchange their shitty scenario, their worse off, even shittier scenario, whatever you think is the end of your day, week, month, year, or whatever it happens to be. We like to create stories in our minds about suffering in certain ways that let it's like the oppression Olympics. These guys are like, well, we're the most marginalized group. No, we're the most marginalized group. No, you have it this way, and you've all got all these advantages. No, well, you because of this, and your grandfathers did that to our people, and it just goes on and on and on. Right? It's like, dude, get over it, man. Get over it. Get over it. Take ownership for your life and do better and be better. That's part of the problem with the world today. I'm telling you right now, drinking bone broth. Trying to drink more bone broth in the evening anyway. In case you're wondering, I know everybody always asks in comments, "What you drinking, man?" Don't do it. Pain is mandatory. Suffering is optional. Realize that. Go back and watch this over and over again until it sinks in. Let me grab the invite link and post it for you guys to hop in, and let's do some Q&A and chop up some shit. You guys bring whatever questions you want. It's open to everybody, young, old, man, woman, child. Well, I mean, let's say over 18. It's kind of an over 18 show, right? Call in and ask a question. So I'm only posting this link to the YouTube chat. It's pinned at the top. Um, and if you're watching this elsewhere on the interwebs, I'll post the StreamYard link I'll post the YouTube link in StreamYard. So over to YT, which stands for YouTube, and boom. And then you'll get the link over there if you want to ask anything. When you get over, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell and the like button for the video. And if you guys are coming in, there's a few people that have already popped in. Let me know what it is you want to talk about in the private chat, and I'll get you in a second. Let me just run the ad reel and we'll get started in a second, guys. This episode is brought to you by the Unplugged Alpha Supplements and Grondike Soap Company. Brothers, if you're like me and you take what you put in your body seriously, you'll want to use the Unplugged Alpha Supplements. An obsession with absorption is what sets this line apart from the others. You want to make sure that you absorb as much of the supplements as possible so you don't end up peeing out expensive urine. My supplement line is made in the United States from the highest quality domestic ingredients. And unlike cheaper supplements from China in plastic bottles, mine ship in dark glass bottles to keep your supplements fresher, longer, and won't seep endocrine disrupting plastics into your supplements. Nothing is a hard tablet. Everything is in an easily digestible, bioavailable capsule. You can filter all products by various categories, including testosterone support, estrogen metabolism, fat burning, immune health, sleep support, and performance. Visit theunpluggedalpha.com/shop and use the subscribe and save option to get 10% off your supplement orders, or use coupon code ALPHA10 for 10% off a one-time order to try it out. Then, I use Tactical Soap and God of War beard oil every day. Tactical Soap is a handmade product made in the United States from ingredients you can actually pronounce, not conventional endocrine lowering toiletry chemicals. Both the soap and the beard oils are infused with bioidentical pheromones that are designed by a clinical psychologist and pheromone expert to maximize attractiveness to the opposite sex. Go visit coopersoap.com and get 10% off your order today. Guys, check out my website at richcooper.ca for more information on booking me for coaching, my community, my courses, and a whole bunch more. You can also find all the useful links pinned below in the top YouTube comment of all my videos. Now let's get on with the show. All right. Let's grab Devin over here and see what he's got for us tonight. All right, my
What's
man.
up,
What's up?
Rich? Nothing much. Big fan. Just wanted to say I appreciate what you do. I got my debt settled because of your book,
Cool.
and
You did it all by
so I,
yourself?
yeah, I actually called the number you guys have on your website. I'm not sure who I spoke to, but they were nice enough to help me, even though I'm in Los Angeles. And
Nice.
I think I got like a 40% paid off. So
Good stuff, man. Well done.
yeah, but today's topic. I think you talked about this on Michael Strahan's podcast, but he was sort of asking about direction and purpose. And you said, eliminating red flags and avoiding the pitfalls is often a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely noticed that, like, eliminating alcohol, all of a sudden I start making better decisions. And so recently, I got out of a relationship with a Becky, as you would call it, a
Okay.
boss girl,
Mm-hmm.
and a little older than me, earned more than me, and just 2 years of a mess. And a month out, I'm doing better in a lot of ways. I'm just sort of curious, when you've kind of attached your meaning to the girls, a relationship, and you're looking for a sense of purpose outside of that, so you don't backtrack into it, fall off the wagon, if you will. How do you think of that? Is it I'll show you? Is there something from
Let me ask you
Eckhart
a question.
Tolle?
Why did you pick Becky? Why did you get into a LTR with a boss girl?
I was in the middle of the pandemic, and I was living in an RV. I make YouTube content, shoot video as
Mm-hmm.
well, and so I was living a pretty adventurous life. But everything kind of came to a halt, and she was very inviting. I mean, at the time, I think one of the first things I told her was, "I'm not the guy you're gonna marry." I think I told her, like, "You look a little expensive," and she sort of laughed at all that. But she ended up inviting me into this nice house. She's like a flight attendant, private chef, cooked me all the meals, made a closet for me, and it was going great until we moved to LA, and she, started getting the DMs, invited to the yachts,
Mm-hmm.
plane tickets, and I just got caught in that love bomb and then pull away, and I spent about a year simping, trying to get it back. Um,
Yeah.
so short answer, it was like a geisha, you know, all the right
Yeah.
things, and then overnight ghosted, complete reversal,
How
and
old are
then
you,
back
Devin?
and forth. I'm 34.
Yeah. And you're probably in better shape, make more money than you did when you were 24.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of the boxes checked. I could earn a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I found I tend to go codependent, even with video partners, with relationships. It's like I want to do somebody else's dream sometimes, especially if it's close to mine. But now that I'm on my own, I'm kind of following that inner voice. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
going better. I wanted to know, honestly, like I quit alcohol, my instinct was to quit relationships for 18
Mm-hmm.
months, just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not much out here in LA where I can see a value exchange that makes sense for me. Um, just looking for, maybe how do you think of, okay, if I'm not chasing a girl or family or one of these things, like
Mm-hmm.
what's the big picture reason
Well,
to
it's
just
well, it's always
do it?
it's always boiling down to the same thing for me, which is focus on yourself, chase excellence, not women, right? Like one of the things that I see a lot of guys do, and I've done this myself too, right? Like, you see a boss girl, let's call her Becky,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is, what I talked about last week, if you guys didn't watch that one yet. But
That was great.
she's certainly attractive, especially to the plugged in men out there that are told their entire lives, find your equal partner, build a life together, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, well, somebody that has a good job in their own place and they have a decent car that runs and doesn't leak oil and stuff like that and seems to have their life together, and you walk in their house and it's like, hey, this place is decorated pretty nice and it smells nice. You kind of like, put yourself in there. It's like you're like a piece of the puzzle that sort of clicks, sort of thing. And at the end of the day, it's like you want to be bigger than that. Like women are only happy and content with you and entering your frame and serving you and being a compliment to your life if she can look up to you. If she can say, this guy's the best that I can do. Other men become invisible. DMs show up and she doesn't respond to them because she's like, whatever, you know, this guy's my world. I don't see anything. So that's what the answer always seems to boil down to. And I get people say, look, you know, not everybody can be at the pinnacle of the pyramid. There's a lot more plugged in simps at the bottom than there are the unplugged alphas, you know, towards the top sort of thing. And they're right. But why, like, you're not going to soar like an eagle if you surround yourself with turkeys, right? My dad always used to say this to me. So the answer is always be better. You want better options with women. You want a higher caliber of woman. You want a woman that's more likely to be sticky to you and not, you know, wander off. Just improve yourself and don't care if she goes off and bangs Kevin from sales. Maybe she was a hoe. Maybe you just weren't a good enough guy for her. Maybe any of those things don't even matter. Forget about the pain. Forget about the suffering. Just what do? You know, you do YouTube videos, you make camper van stuff. I don't know, but whatever it is that you do more of that, do it better, collaborate with better people, tell better stories, work on your shit so that you improve and become better. It's just be better. It's just be better the next day. Be better the next week than what you were. Be better the next year than what you were before. And that'll give you better options with women so you don't have those sorts of problems, right?
Yeah, just be better, you know, growing. I know that feels better, and maybe I'm thinking too much in terms of like, what's the purpose if I live in Los Angeles and I don't even want to entertain the thought of having a kid out here and exposing myself to all that.
Go leave.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I guess what I'm asking is, you know, purpose outside of you having, you know, a kid and that going the way it did, you know, starting this YouTube channel, starting a business. I think I fall for somebody else who says, oh, we could have a family, or oh, you could help me fulfill my purpose, you know? I just, I was wondering if you even need that or if you just grow every day and you kind of stumble into that.
Well, men, I believe, have an innate need to find a woman to or women, you know, whatever happens, you know, your angle may or may not be, but men like women. If you're straight, men like women. Men like women that are in their lives. Men like women that look pretty and smell pretty and do nice things to serve them and cook for them and feed them and take care of them. Men like that, right? So you want to stay away from that for a bit? Cool, do it. You know, but if you like women, you're always going to be drawn back. But it's like, if you're always going to be drawn back, why not have better options? Why not be in a position where you can just say, oh, you know what, you're bad news bears, go away. I have better options, and then you just stop responding. Why aren't you talking to me? You're not getting back to me. Look, I'm not interested. Sorry, goodbye. And just, you know, you move on, sort of thing, right? That's all.
For sure. Yeah, just accept
It's not
it.
complex, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah.
don't complicate your life unnecessarily. It's
Okay.
find your purpose, work on your grind. You know, if you find that you're struggling in certain areas of life, obstacles, you know, get in the way of things. You know, sometimes the obstacle can become the way. It's basically a book by Ryan Holiday. The obstacle is the way, which is a good read, which I'd recommend. But you don't need to suffer. You know, pain will come, pain will happen. You will make some bad choices. Debt was a painful problem for you.
Hmm.
You know, you looked at it, you said, I don't need to deal with this. You found a solution, you paid 40 cents in the dollar, now it's gone, right? Like
Yeah.
you're a problem solving being. You're an ownership guy. Like that's what guys do. Like we take ownership for shit. So lean into that more. Lean into the pain. Don't amplify the suffering. Stop telling yourself stories. A lot of guys would just be like, well, that chick, she just took advantage of me and I did everything for her. And then she went and banged some guy on a yacht because he DM'd. Like, that's like the victim mindset. That's like the story
Yeah.
that you want to tell to sort of, you know, keep dealing with the pain. It's like, just move on from it, right? Cool.
Yeah. Was there a point when I don't know if you dealt with some of this insecurity yourself? Was there a point when it just kind of clicked and you're like, I don't overthink it anymore. I've pretty much
That's when you're fully unplugged, my friend. That's when you look at
yeah,
everything and you're just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, like you're in a position to just do whatever you want and not care.
yeah.
Because you understand, because you know better, because you've experienced, because you've been through it, right?
I love it.
It's a good call. Thanks,
Thank
Evan.
you, Rich.
All right, buddy. All right. Oh man. Let's see what RJ's got for us here. RJ, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Rich. Thanks for
How you
having me.
doing?
Hey, good man. I'm 40 years old. I live out in Colorado. I have
I was just there.
I have a six-figure. Yeah, I heard you guys were out skiing. That's cool. Yeah, I have a six-figure 9 to 5 in like commercial real estate. I do like facilities operations and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the last couple of years, I've built 2 Airbnbs, and I've pretty much learned that that's a long-term investment. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best step to take to kind of set up passive income to offset my 9 to 5.
Well, real estate's always a good play because people need somewhere to stay. As long as there's human beings walking the earth and we're multiplying, they're going to need housing. So a lot of guys really like housing.
Sure.
Is that your shtick? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I mean, I like it. I've been able to get like 100 acres of, kind of prime mountain real estate, but it's a long-term investment. You're not really making money until the mortgage is paid off.
You know what a lot of guys like to do is if you're doing the Airbnb thing, is they like to create like these experiences. So if you have 100 acres prime real estate, it's got a good view, it's on elevation, it's on a mountain, whatever, you can throw a bunch of yurts up, create a little sort of compound, and then you can like sell that experience to people, right? Like I know guys that have done this with land up in Northern Ontario, and it's like they'll build out like something like 6 of these yurts or these huts or these private whatever, and each one's different, has like a code name like Purple Hut or Rainbow Butterfly over here, like whatever happens to sell, right? And then they just sort of market it out on Airbnb, and they're usually like pretty much always booked, right? That seems to be a thing that works pretty well with real estate right now, but that could change, man. Like I've seen things happen where municipal governments will come in and say, oh, they'll go and scan the Airbnb listings, and they'll be like, okay, there's 1,700 listings in our municipality. And then they introduce a bylaw bill to tax them. And then all of a sudden, everybody with an Airbnb is hit with a $4,000 or $5,000 a year tax on their property. So then it sucks out some of the profit. Like I've seen that happen too in some areas. So everything's got pros and cons, but they're not making any more land. Real estate is limited. People are going to continue to multiply as far as we can see. So yeah, it's a decent play. So why not?
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. And, I was kind of trying to just think about, the problem with the 9 to 5 is that, I'm pretty much capped out, after 20 years in the industry, you work your way to the top, and I'm kind of just leveled out. So
what do you do for a living? Like when you go to work?
I'm a building engineer. So I take care of commercial office buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's a decent career, but I'm trying to like level up, and, some of my buddies got into crypto. I went the real estate route, but I'm still learning, like, yeah, if I sell the property, sure, I can kind of double my money at this point because I've built them myself. But, like you said, you don't want to get rid of it because that's a long-term goal. So I'm kind of looking something more like passive, or, to try to find like a mentor, or, I really don't want a 9 to 5 that I can make double this salary, because I'm trying to get out of, being locked down to a big city or something like that.
So you need to build something for yourself. You need to go self-employed. You need to become an entrepreneur. You can always leave and go to another job and make a couple bucks more a year, or maybe be in a different environment, but it's like same shit, different lawn.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. So no, I like your idea. I mean, I've thought about like, razor rentals, like off-road rentals and stuff like that, because all my properties like surrounded by national forests with Jeep trails, or
I can smash those things up. There's maintenance issues. There's moving parts. It's got engines. Like you want to create businesses that are easy and fun and lucrative to operate. And then, when you start like, okay, it's kind of hard to break things in housing. It's a lot easier to break like a razor rental, because people will drive them, flip them, smash them into things, seize the engines, thing overheats, coolant blows up. Like there's more potential for other variables. people getting hurt, maybe even suing you, shit like that. So look for ways to build out these other sources of income in such a way that it's more easy, it's more lucrative, it's more fun. Are you on my email list?
No, I'm not.
Because my School of Entrepreneurship opens up for sale again in the spring. It's $19.97. It's got all these things, broken down that you need to contemplate when you're moving out of a like 9 to 5 sort of like wagey sort of thing, payroll thing, into building out your own sort of business. And it's always ideal to build something that's got long-term legs that's going to be fun and easy to run. That's also going to make you a lot of money, because the default is a lot of people just go to like, oh, I heard about this business, so I'm going to go do it. So it seems easy. Like one of the ones that always seems to pop up a lot is something like pressure washing. Like guys seem to think that they're going to make a vast fortune buying a pressure washer and then advertising pressure washing services like in Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that. And they never really make much money, right? So it's like, okay, well, you're thinking anyway, so why not use the same thinking muscle to evaluate the business structure and then eliminate shit ones. Like the other guy was talking, before about, or, this happens every call, somebody calls and asks a question. It's like, okay, like what should I stay away from and why the red flags, why not the green flags? You get my point. Like, you will stay away from the things that don't get you to your goal. They're going to create obstacles. They're going to slow you down. They're not aligned with your goal, if you will. It's like, if your goal is to get married and have children, then why would you get married to a chick that's been with 200 guys? Probably the worst choice ever.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's eliminate that from the process. So it's the same thing with a business, right? It's like, what are the red flags? What are the things that you want to eliminate that are going to maximize profitability and also maximize fun and also maximize your ability to stick to the business for a long period of time, right? And hopefully it has some value later on down the road. So you can be like, oh, I'm going to list my 100 acres with my 27 yurts that earns, $24,000 a month in passive income. I'll list it here for sale and somebody will buy it because I want to fuck off and sail in Thailand now, right?
Yep. Cool. No, I appreciate the information. And one tip of advice that I have for some of these guys that are struggling with women is learn to dance. When I was young, I learned how to salsa dance and country dance, and that's a game changer. So something as simple as taking dance lessons, it's a lot better than holding up the wall at a club.
Yeah. So let me just add to that, because I'm the kind of guy that dances. Like I'll have a drink or something like that and I'll loosen up. Like I'm that guy, right? I don't do salsa dancing. I don't do ballroom dancing. I don't do like, for me, like I do. And it's like, this feels like, gay and shit. Like I don't want to do it. Right. It's like, like this. And I see guys that get good at it and they destroy, like they own, because women want to like have a great dance partner like that. Aaron Cleary's talked about this. I got a couple guys in my community that are great dancers, phenomenal. And, they have beautiful women that they partner with. So you're absolutely right. But you have to like it, right? For me, it was like, I'm just a big, awkward, muscular guy that looks like a douche when I try to dance that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Good seeing you, RJ. Take care, man. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So David has a recent personal experience that wants to share on this. Let's see what he's got for us here. And by the way, guys, if you want to call in, the join link is pinned in the top of the YouTube live chat. So, we got room for a few more callers. So get your ass in here. Well, let's chop it up. David, what's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, Rich. Yeah, first off, I just want to say your video's been fantastic, because you've literally just hit the nail on the head with everything and described what the last 3 months of my life have been.
Okay.
Wish I had this video a lot sooner, but yeah, everything you said about coming out of the chaos and just dealing with it and just changing the view of it is like spot on, because that's what happened to me. I'm just commenting on it because I've viewed your content for a while, and I still got hit with the same bullshit, and this was after like years of studying your stuff. And long story short, got screwed over by friends that I thought I could trust, and it just didn't work that way. One of them was a chick with like weird issues, and even though the alarm bells were there, I didn't listen because I thought, well, I'm not dating her, it's a friend thing, whatever. And yeah, before I knew it, I was hit with anxiety and depression. I was feeling, I went from feeling like Rip Wheeler to Jamie Dutton, which I know you'll get that reference.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I started pretty much trying to get my way out of it, revisiting your own videos. I even read the book you mentioned earlier, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing was working until eventually things hit ahead and I just got it cut loose. And weirdly now everything's worked out because it's like, well, that was the problem. These people were the problem. They were causing you the pain and suffering, but
Mhm.
you weren't getting better because you kept them in your life, which
Mhm.
that's it.
That that
That's where you make a
actually
mistake, dumbass.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of a point that I didn't bring up when I was talking about these, where the two most negative human emotions are resentment and guilt. One
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
geared towards somebody else, and one is geared towards yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So what we like to do is we like these badges of honors. We like playing the
Yeah.
oppression Olympics. We like the victim mindset because it's easier than doing the work. It's a lot easier to be like,
Mhm.
that guy fucked me over. Now I am going to wear this as a badge of honor, but nobody cares. Nobody ever looks at that guy and goes, "Oh, he's a 4-star general in the military. He must have done great things." They just see a guy that's hunched over. He's not made right anymore. And what we like to do is we like to take these big burlap bags, like picture a giant ass burlap sturdy bag, and you put all these bricks in it. Oh, I got fucked over by this chick. My
Yes.
boss is an asshole. I should have got
Mhm.
promoted, but this guy got the job. And you keep putting all these bricks in this thing, and you take this bag and you throw it over your shoulder, and you like walking around with it, except for the bag's invisible and nobody sees it. Only you know
Yeah.
that it's there. That's the equivalent of what a lot of guys do when they like to suffer. It's like and all you have to do is just take it off your shoulder and put it down and just walk away from the thing.
Well, that's it. I was making myself suffer by keeping these people in my life, and I thought, is the problem me? What's causing this? Why am I feeling this?
Mhm.
And like even when I spoke to my old man about it, because I have a great dad, like he's old school, masculine as hell, taught me everything I need to know. And it was him that said, "Well, the problem wasn't you; it was them. You just kept trying to justify it." And it was actually today after I had a fucking good workout at the gym. I remember one of your favorite sayings, which is, "What are men experts at? Complicating our lives, justifying the reasons." Okay.
Mhm.
I was trying to make excuses for keeping these people because I just tried to justify keeping them when it's like, no, they're not good. And as you said, filling more bags with bricks to carry them over their shoulder. And
Bingo.
yeah, and to not keep it in the negative, to try and get to the positive, which is the reason why I called in. Like, see, recently when it all came to the head, I won't go into the bloody details, but coming out of it, now that it's been taken away, yeah, I'm almost feeling back to the old strong self again because I'm now using it as the opportunity where it's like, well, the way it's gone, now you
Mhm.
can move on. Now you can come out of it, and yeah,
When
view it.
you when
Look for the
you
opportunity.
put down that bag of bricks
Yeah,
and you walk away with it and you start doing the work on yourself and you start
mhm,
leveling up, bad shit still happens, okay? Like bad shit
yeah,
still happens in my life. There's still a lot of assholes out there that'll double cross you and earn your trust and then,
mhm.
betray you. Like,
Oh yeah,
things will happen. Business transactions, women, whatever it happens to be. But as you get better, as you level up in life and you have more money and you have nicer things, I've often said you'll never see a guy crying in a Lamborghini,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, you just kind of like,
Or the guy.
whatever. I'm in the Lambo today, right? You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying, right? Like, it's the answer is always double down on yourself. Where do you do the work? It's on yourself. The ROI is always on yourself. It's not on trying to fix some crazy woman. It's not on trying to reconcile a shitty business relationship or business that's drowning, that's going south. It's always on yourself. Learn, observe, move forward.
Yeah. Mhm. Or in
All
my
right.
case, try not to fix a crazy woman, her loser fiance, and a idiot friend. But going forward, it's like, well,
That's
they're
another
lost.
story for another time.
Well, no, no, do you wanna know what? It's not even a story because now if anyone asks, it's like, "What happened?" It's like, there's nothing to say. Moving on, and just the way you look at it, it's like, right, I'm free to, like, get back to work on myself and do other things. So it's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, but you can't go to the this or that with them." It's like, okay, time and money saved that I can use on other endeavors. Because, like, recently I did read the book Ryan Holiday because you mentioned one of your, videos, and that is a great book because it does
Mhm.
mention, well, change your perspective on it, and it's like, yeah, I could be broken, I could be crying
Rebuild
like,
it.
"Oh, I'm never gonna see them, I'm gonna lose that," or I can view it as, well, I've
Mhm.
dodged a bullet. I've avoided something that, yeah, it's when you come out of it, that's when it's like, yeah, view it as an opportunity to, you've avoided something, fix your perspective. So,
Yep. And then just put that bag of, that burlap bag
bricks,
down.
yeah,
Just drop it. Walk away from it. Thanks,
absolutely.
David.
Yep,
Appreciate
no
it.
worries.
Take care, man. Ciao. Let's see what else I got here in the private chat. A few people waiting. Again, the link to join if you have a question is pinned in the top comment of YouTube. Make sure you watch live. I know some of you guys watch the replay, but if you want to hop in and ask questions, it's every Monday night. Jesse wants to ask a question about getting ripped off. Jesse, you've been ripped off.
Yes, I have. So, Rich, your video came at the perfect time because I was fighting war on 2 fronts last week. Found out that, I had to vacate my room because they're converting the room into a storage shed. I'm just renting for now. And also, business partner I was working with, I was working so hard and ended up, not paying me for the week, and don't know if he's ever going to pay me for that. And I remember briefly over the summer, you described a story to me when we were live like this, that you once were in a real estate deal and you got ripped off for like over 60K, and you just kind of moved on from that. It's just, I'm just in, such a like angry, like rage fueled state, and what exactly like prevented you from like going, like trying to get justice, suing the person or threatening to sue or like trying to get justice?
It's a good question. So I've been ripped off to the tune of probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even $500,000, just by some were shitty people that put shitty deals in front of me. Some of it was my fault for letting the wrong person, get access to my money. And I just looked at it as, like a guy that fucked me over for $18,000 on one of my first settlement deals. Did I want to kill him? Maybe. Did I want to hurt him? Of course. Did I think about taking legal steps to remedy the situation? Sure. But you can pay a lot of money for a school education and get a utterly useless bullshit degree that you can do nothing with and spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I just look at anything that's not that big. Like, it's not that big. Like, don't make mountains out of molehills. Like, why am I going to go and take all kinds of money and time and stress suing some guy over $18,000 that probably doesn't have anything to his name, that even if I do get a judgment, he'll probably just file for bankruptcy and, discharge it. It's unlikely for me to collect on. All the stress isn't worth it. Throwing good money after bad. You just get to the point where you're like, you know what? Karma will get you, bitch. There's just times where you have to surrender, right? And not let it eat you up inside, because there's no good that can come out of it. Now, there's times where, you can go and destroy somebody too. Trust me, there's time for that. And, when that is, and I've done it and other people have done it, and then they will never forget your name. They will remember you on their deathbed, right? Because they fucked you, right? So, something like you have to move out because we're going to convert this space to a storage shed. That's trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. It's like, okay, I'll go find somewhere else to live. The business partner that's not paying you, he's not a business partner. He's your employer if he's not paying you. So don't get involved with somebody that's your employer if you want a business partner. Structure it properly next time. You understand?
All right. Thank you so much, Rich. Great stream tonight.
All right, man. Take care. Okay. Got Chris going through divorce, looking for some advice. All right.
How's it going, Rich? No, I was just looking for some advice, because it seems like right now I'm still in the beginning process. Well, not really. I'm like 6 months in to my divorce. And it seems like otherwise my ex finds ways to otherwise take the kids away from me. And then it pisses me off, and I end up going through probably saying some shit that I shouldn't say. But I'm just looking.
I hope
what's
not
the
in
best.
writing.
No.
Okay.
So I'm just looking, what's the best way to kind of like deal with that? I have my lawyer, and it's just kind of like going a lot of back and forth and still dealing with the process. But what's something that I could possibly do?
Do you still live in the matrimonial home?
No, I moved out.
Okay, so you moved out. And how old are the kids?
They're both 14.
Okay. And do you share custody right now, or what's the situation there?
No, the situation is she ended up trying to say that I hit her, and then I ended up having to move out, and they gave her temporary custody to the kids until we go back to court.
Do you see the kids at all?
Yes, here and there, whenever she doesn't throw her fits, because at any time she just kind of changes it up on me.
Okay. So what would be the ideal outcome if I could wave a magic wand to solve this problem? Like, what are you looking to try to solve right now?
It would just be what would be some of the things that I should be looking into doing. Should I be just looking to trying to fight and just see my kids more often,
Mhm.
or should I just wait till the court systems actually kind of deal with that?
Do you live in a state that's hostile towards fathers?
California, yeah,
Yeah, you're kind of fucked there. How long were you guys married for?
18 years.
And does she work?
Yes,
Does she make more money than you? Less? The same?
less.
Less. Okay. Yeah, you're in a bad spot, dude. I've I've made a lot of videos on divorce on my channel. I have a course that's available on Teachable now. Like all my courses, guys, are all pinned in the top comment of all my videos. So if it's of interest to you, there's a course on divorce. The problem is that you've already experienced a false domestic violence charge, which I talk about in my course, preparing you for divorce and what to do to protect yourself in a scenario like that. It's too late for you for stuff like that. She's obviously not very cooperative. Like, it sounds to me like she basically wants it all, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And you're out of the house, and how long you been out of the house for now?
going on 6-7 months.
Yeah. This is like one of those things, Chris, that you kind of have to get to a point now. It's like, okay, now I just have to surrender. Woosah. Like, you got to do what you got to do, because you're basically like a stick somebody threw in the rapids, and it's just getting pushed downstream, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to go along for the ride at this stage of the game. If you're still in the matrimonial home, if she hasn't pulled the false DV charge, if you're still in the early stages where you're just starting to untie the knot, my course on divorce is perfect for you. What you need right now is a time machine for me to fix, where you're at, to do things differently. So
Yeah.
the best that you can do is the best that you can do. Tell your kids when you see them that that you love them. Let them know the truth, because 14 years old is probably a reasonable age where you can say, I didn't do that. That's just a lie. This is what the law does when people do that. And this is how I got to where I am today. She's your mom. You should respect her. Like, it's all about them at this stage. It should be about the kids. And at the end of the day, what's in the best interest of the kids is having good access to both parents. Any parent that removes access to the other parent is alienating the children from one of their parents. And that's a shit move. That's a shit parent, at the end of the day. But you can't say that. You can't say the other parent is a piece of shit. Okay. Don't disparage, just focus on them, focus on time. Always let them know that there's an open door. Give them a key to the house. Tell them to come over whenever they want. They're welcome to live here if they want to. Usually by the age of about 13, 14, usually not beyond 14 or 15, kids can choose to live wherever they want.
Yeah.
So if they recognize the other parent's batshit crazy and it's too difficult for them to live over there, and you've extended the invite and they want to do it, there's really nothing that they can do. I mean, you're going to want to be in the same school zone. You're going to want to live somewhere near where all the extracurriculars are, where all their friends are. Like, this is a choice you have to make as the other parent when you move out, is don't move out 20 miles away, and move out within a 5-mile radius of the matrimonial home, where the kids are already comfortable and their schools and their friends and everything's already set up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, but that would have been a little bit hard because I still had to pay for everything for the residents. And there was no way I would have been able to maintain 2 households.
And that's why you want to make sure that you stay in the matrimonial home, so you have some leverage, because right now you don't have that much leverage, right? So now it's just, look, kids, I love you. This is where we're at. This is how family law treats fathers. I want to see you as much as I can. Try to increase your schedule or improve it. But that's where they put men, right? Like, I break down this and many, many other components on my course on divorce so guys understand what untying the knot entails. Because I'll say this again, like most guys have some idea how women work. We know how to, you know, they're pretty, they smell nice. We want to ask them on a date. We know how to behave on a date. Like we have some idea of how to deal with women, but you have no idea how to deal with divorce. Nobody tells you shit. Nobody tells guys anything. They don't prepare you and say, by the way, you know, this woman that you married is not going to be the same woman that you are going to go and divorce now. She may lie to the authorities to get a false domestic violence charge filed to get you out of the house and change the locks, right?
Mhm.
Oh, and by the way, if you make more money and you're out of the house, you're maintaining 2 households. Oh, and by the way, she's probably going to go for sole custody because that gives her control and power. Like nobody tells guys any of this shit. Guys only learn this throughout the process. And Chris, you're not the first. You're not going to be the last. There's going to be a trail. There's going to be hundreds of millions of other guys that are going to follow you down this path throughout the time. And nobody is going to change family law to improve the situation for men. Men have to take ownership for themselves. And if you're going to get involved in a long-term relationship and have a kid with a woman or get married, invite the state in your home, you have to prepare in some way, shape, or form, or at least understand that the slaughterhouse you're marching into has very sharp objects in it that you can hurt yourself. You're just sort of wandering around through a slaughterhouse right now with sharp objects. Cut yourself as little as possible. Your kids need their father. This too shall pass. Things will get better for you. And one day in 5, maybe 10 years, you're going to look back at this and you're going to be like, you know what? That was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
No, yeah, trust me. Going through this divorce is the best thing. I'm learning a lot more about myself than actually trying to still be within it.
Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
have
it
a
does.
better solution for you right now other than learn how to surrender to where you've landed, like where you've put yourself.
Mhm.
It's not entirely your fault because nobody tells guys these things. And I mean, I put the course together to try to help guys understand it. If you're on my email list, you'll get a email that'll explain, you know, what the course is and how to get it. If you just want to get the course, if you guys are watching this, again, that's pinned in the top comment below. But for your stage of where you're going through, Chris, it's learn how to surrender, learn how to accept, still try to offer your kids an opportunity to be in your life and to spend plenty of time with them. And whatever spare time you have, just work on yourself.
Okay.
You know, what can you do to improve your level of income? What can you do to improve your health? What can you do to make yourself a better man, to unplug more from this bullshit, to have more control over your life?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Rich.
All right, man. Good luck. Okay. We got bad year. Wife left, came back, broke my neck. Wife left again to take my kid hunting, get a bit. Yeah. To get what? Dude, I'm reading this and I don't know if I can put you on if this is the story. Cowboy, can you? Okay, I see a nod in your head. I'm gonna bring you on. We have an interesting story here. All right, so fill us in, Cowboy.
So, beginning of the year, right at New Year's, we had some problems back in November. Wife says, you know, I'm done. Get your stuff, get out.
Mhm.
She moves out. Everybody says it's got to get better. It's got to get better. My wife comes back. I go back to work and, you know, things are going great. I end up breaking my neck at work. My wife decides a couple months later she wants a divorce. I said, okay, get out. I'm still going to be a good dad, or try to be. I go to set up the deer stand and I get bit by a tick. I think, man, this has got to get better. It's got to get better. I go to the doctor and doctor says, well, now don't laugh too much, Rich. All right, you got to go see a urologist. It ain't getting better. I go to the urologist. He says, all right, my wife's been gone for 4 months now. I ain't had no action. I got a 6'4" dude pulling on my junk. He goes, we're going to have to lance this out. Next thing I know, I'm laying there and he sticks a needle in it. I scream. He cuts it out, says, that's not what I expect. I'm looking down. I go, are you kidding me? He goes, hang on. He pulls this machine over and he cauterizes it. I smell my own junk burning. It is the worst experience I've ever had in my life. And it last year just beat me down. That's when I found you. About 2 weeks after you closed your entrepreneurship. And I'm like, you know what? This is a dude I can follow. This is somebody I need to get behind. I need to work on myself. So I'm 44 years old. I'm 140 pounds. I work out every morning, and I just want to get better for myself and my daughter.
Mm. How old's your daughter?
She'll be 10 in April. I raised her 2 children. You talk about simping. I raised her 2 children 20 years from the time they were 2 and 4. I walked my oldest daughter back in October down the aisle, and her mother was the one giving the ministry, saying about how important marriage was, as she's wanting a divorce.
Mm-hmm. That's
So yeah, my brother, I've had a rough year, but I will prosper.
Well, like I said at the beginning, man, pain in a man's life is going to happen. Suffering is optional. Sometimes when they cauterize your junk and you got to deal with that, a little bit of pain, but hey, day or two, just make sure you're not feeling filling a large burlap bag full of bricks to carry around, because again, nobody cares, nobody gives a shit. Let it go, work on yourself, let your own success, let your own wins in life show your ex-wife or anybody out there that might have done you wrong, walked away when you're at a low point.
I've lost every friend I've ever had over this, so
your best revenge is your own success.
Well, I just got, thanks to you, I got onto TRT, giving that a whirl.
Good.
It's my first week. I'm still waiting for my kit in the mail from Victory Men's Health. So
okay, it's a life changer for a lot of guys.
Did you notice a pain in your balls?
Yes.
Is that the HCG that I need to be?
That's what I found. I found that when you start with testosterone, it was about 3 weeks in, nuts start to hurt. And you're like, what the hell? You go to the doctor and he's like, oh, that's just your nuts contracting because they're not making testosterone anymore. But I can give you this HCG, which will stop that. So I took it. I'm
going to order it tomorrow.
Yeah. So that makes that go away. HCG is actually, I think it's more important than what a lot of guys want to acknowledge. They usually opt out of it because it's extra money. And a lot of guys will say, oh, you don't really need it. But HCG triggers luteinizing hormones, right? And you have these LH receptors, throughout your body. So they're supposed to be working. So you're kind of giving them something to start, to keep working, right? So it's like, you put your exogenous testosterone in, and then you kind of top it up with a little bit more of your own. Like that's what the point of the HCG is, right? To keep your nuts working.
Okay.
So I just feel better, and I prefer it overall.
Well, so you're microdosing with the the little needles. I watched the whole episode on that. I'm going to do that, but a huge shout out to you and Rollo Tomasi. Listening to you guys has changed my whole perspective on this divorce, my shitty last year, and I'm going to try and become a better man.
Good for you, man. Call back when you do. Let me know how it works out.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
See you, buddy. All right. Again, guys, the link to hop in and ask questions is pinned in at the top. Got time for a few more. I got Stefanos here. Wants help finding a niche to start a location-independent business. How do I niche test that? Okay. Stefanos, what do you got for me, buddy?
Rich, how you doing, man?
Good, man. What's the question?
So, I want to start a location-independent business.
Okay.
But, see, I'm unable to find a good niche that I don't hate, that is very lucrative, that is compatible with location independence. Also, like you say, ELF, right? Easy, lucrative, and fun. I'm all over the place, too. That's the thing, very all over the place. I do a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing right now? You driving Uber or Uber Eats or something?
How'd you know?
Because you're sitting in your car.
One of the things I do, skip the dishes.
Okay.
Also, personal training. Recently got into it.
Yeah.
in a wedding company doing like MC, DJ kind of stuff, and like help out whoever I can.
Yeah. Well, there's some things that you're doing with your time that aren't like, what is your hourly rate? Let me ask you that.
$20.
Is that all you're worth? Is $20 an hour?
That's why I'm asking you the question.
Well, how do you get better? You hold yourself to higher standards. You raise your standards, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this question requires some sort of private consultation.
It probably does, but I can tell you that you can't afford my rate because I'm $5,000 an hour.
$5,000 an hour. Well, you're more than Caleb Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I'm better than Caleb Jones. I like Caleb, but
Yeah, I spoke to Caleb too. I was in his program actually. What is it called? I forget his name now. Last year I did it for a month.
Yeah. How did you like it?
Very nice. Amazing program.
Good.
It's like $200 a month or something Canadian.
Good. So why are you still pricing yourself at $20 an hour though?
You got me there.
Right. I mean, raise your standards. Like I'm not saying, raise your standards to $5,000 an hour, but raise your standards to something that's, closer to where you want to get. That's going to let you build something that's location independent, right? $100, $200 an hour, and then refuse to do anything unless it's going to pay you that rate.
Question is, what's the niche? What do I do?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. I have a course. It's called the School of Entrepreneurship, and I break down a lot of that in there.
Is that the one that's 1997?
That's the one that's 1997. Yeah. I also have monthly Zoom calls, so you can hop in on the Zoom calls, ask questions, updates. This is what's happening in my business. It's not open for sale right now. It's going to open again in a month or two. But if you're on the email list below, then you'll get notified of it. But look, generally speaking, you want three things to overlap. You have to be great at doing it. Okay. You have to love doing it. And, being great at doing something and love doing something isn't the same thing. Right. Because I'm really fucking good at working with my hands. I can do brake jobs on cars. Right. But that's 80, 90, $100 an hour, is what it pays. So I don't totally love doing it because it doesn't fill the other thing, which the third one is makes great money. So it makes great money. You love doing it and you're good at doing it.
I'm good at singing and I love doing singing.
Okay,
I'm really good at it too.
Okay, so how do you build that out into a location independent business?
But it's not lucrative.
How do you make it lucrative? How do you make it lucrative?
How do you make it lucrative? That's a good question. Yeah. How do you make it lucrative?
All right. So you're sitting in your car. You're thinking about that right now. You're waiting for the next gig to come up. Do you have a notepad?
Sure. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions?
I'm just asking if you keep a notepad so you can jot down ideas.
Oh, all the time. Yeah. I have my phone with me all the time.
Cool.
I go to my notes, write things down.
So what ideas have you cooked up?
Actually, okay. I have an idea too. Turkish. So I'm Turkish, right? It's my background.
Mm-hmm.
I could teach people Turkish as a niche though. I'm going to find a niche. Okay. Men between 30 and 35, blah, 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 some sort of niche market. And then build a following on Instagram or something like that and teach people this way. Well, that's one thing I thought of.
What do guys want? Three things, right? Get paid, get laid, look good naked. Get six-pack abs is really the third one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you can teach them Turkish, if you can teach the passport bros that maybe want to go to Turkey to live a better life, let's say, better women, let's say, more traditional women, let's say, I don't know,
Not anymore.
Maybe not anymore.
Dr. Redfield, he talks about you all the time. The surgeon guy.
I think I met him. He's the guy that does facial reconstructive surgery.
Yeah. He talks about that women are not traditional anymore either.
Yeah, I met him at a conference one. His story was, I don't know if it's the same guy, but I remember there was a facial surgeon that told me the story about his main job was reconstructing people's faces that were attempted suicide, and they used the gun wrong. And they, instead of tilting it back far enough, they tilted it forward too much, and they just blew off the front of their face. So he had to fix it.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Always over a woman. Same guy.
Yeah, he knows Rollo too, actually.
Okay, yeah, same guy then. So, well, look, I mean, there you have a guy that figured out how to create a location independent business, talking Dr. Red Pill stories on YouTube. Right. I'm not saying that's the answer for you, but if you like singing, I know a guy that I was coaching for several months who lives in South America, English fellow. Moved down there, bought a place for next to nothing, got married, and he started up a business teaching people how to do duets with a certain genre of music. Met him with 1,000, 2,000 subs. We built up his channel. I talked to him several times over several months. He's got 140,000 subs last time I checked. He's
So
got
I
a
feel like I'm
legitimate
not that.
business.
What is it
He
called?
sells courses.
I wasn't trained in singing. Like, I'm good at it. I was in shows and stuff here in Cambridge, right? I did a couple of shows. I live in Hamilton, but I do shows here and there. But what is it called? Community theater. And
Okay.
I do duets here and there.
Traditional Turkish sort of singing?
English. I can like Sinatra, everything. Yeah, everything. Turkish
Okay.
too. Greek, actually. I speak Greek too. But I want to focus on more English.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Iron Maiden, actually. We had a heavy metal band when I was living back in Istanbul. We were doing Iron Maiden, Metallica, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, it's got to have those three things intersecting, to begin with. So eliminate. So I'm that guy that always says it's a lot easier to live a great life, to live a better life, if you eliminate shit that's going to complicate it, right? Like that's the point of my 20 red flags, like red flags to avoid when you're dealing with women.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you avoid most of these or all of these, your life will be nice, generally speaking. It's the same thing with a business. Like if you avoid things that are potentially going to get like brick and mortar businesses for me, like if somebody said, hey, I got this great idea, like one of the things that I love right now, Stefanos, is I really like these, like, I don't know what to call them, they're like float spa, sauna, cold plunge places. You go in, you pay a set
my
fee.
gym has a cold plunge too.
Yeah, so it's got a cold plunge, an infrared sauna, and a red light, and it's usually a private room, so you can go in there with your chick. You spend an hour, you got music, just chilling out. You're doing some like light meditation and stuff when you're in the cold plunge. And if somebody said, "Hey, Rich, I know that you like that stuff, but I want you to invest into it," well, to me, that's not easy, lucrative, or fun, because that's something the government can shut down with the next pandemic, with the next climate lockdown, with the next whatever bullshit they want to create.
Yeah, they shut everything down, man.
I can't pick that up and move that somewhere else. Right. So to me, that's a non-negotiable. I'll go and rent and I'll go and use it. I'll pay for access to it. I'll pay the monthly membership, but I don't want to own that business. Right. So, when you get clear on your non-negotiables and what it is that you like, what it is that you're good at doing, what makes you lots of money and that you actually love it. When those three things intersect, that's where the cash is.
Lots of money.
There's more around that, but that's the main like meat and potatoes of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Do you have any suggestions, like specifically from what you know so far, that a niche that I can pick?
That's a long conversation, man. I got to know what your
That's skills
are. Just buy the course, man. Like, to book me for an hour is $5,000. You can buy the course for $19.97, and you get access to me monthly for as long as you need me.
As long as, is it the monthly course or is it like indefinite?
No, it's $19.97 flat fee. You get all the course material, which is like 5 hours of video lectures, maybe six or 7 hours now with the webinars that I've added. And I usually add new shit. Like, as people say, hey, I think we need some clarity on this, I'll just do another webinar and I'll add it in there. So it gets more comprehensive over time. And then there's monthly Zoom calls, which you can attend as many as you want, because I just keep doing them.
Gotcha, man. Thank you. I'm going to think about this. I'll go from
there.
Okay.
See you,
Thanks,
brother.
Man. Good night.
Take care. Okay. SB has a question about friends with benefits. So let's give it to SB. What's up?
Hey, Rich. I've talked to you probably about a year ago. Real quick, I hopped onto one of your shows. So I've kind of been, following you for a fair amount of time now. But a quick kind of question was, there's a girl that I have who's a friend with benefits. She's not going to really be more than that. But she's definitely like catching feelings. She's talked about like the exclusive talk. I've told her like, that's just not, I'm a college student. That's not where I'm at. But, and she's still coming over, which is fine, which is what I want. But one of my like bigger things is like when she starts to ask why, like, I mean, obviously there's many reasons. Do you think it's important to just like not really give a reason, or kind of just mostly just say the simple reason, just be like, that's not what I'm looking for right now, but I'm fine.
How old are you?
23.
How old is she?
She's 22, 21 or 22.
And how long have you guys been FWBs?
Probably for like only like 2 months.
FWBs usually have a expiry date. I mean, like everything has an expiry date, but they tend to have a more rapid expiry date because somebody catches feelings, and then if the other person isn't interested in reciprocating or to becoming more than just FWBs, then it sort of fizzles out. So it's just sort of like one of those things that you have to accept. You have to surrender to it. So if you're not interested in an LTR, if you're not interested in, being more than just what you are right now, then just make it clear, like, this is where I'm at. I'm happy with seeing you once a week when we get together on this day or whatever, and love hanging out with you. And the sex is great and blah 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 sort of thing. But that's it. I'm not, giving you anything more than that. This is what I'm focusing on right now, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd say like honestly the biggest reason. I mean, I'm not really like one of the things is like I'm not looking really for not too. I'm pretty young. But my area, like once I leave school, is going to be like so that my population in my town is going to be like 1,000 people, 2,000 like between there. So really small. Dead. Like back in high school, I kind of got with like 2 of the girls, and that's everyone that's above an 8. And so the biggest reason I'm not willing to make it anything more than like even casually date, like even date, but no, it's not going to kind of go anywhere crazy, was because mostly like. And I know, a girl's sexual past matters, and like the biggest reason is she has a body count of what she told me, which is 20, so easily double that, if not triple that, because she's a senior at a bigger university here in the United States.
And she's 22.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a lot of dudes for 22.
I completely agree. But one of my things is I feel like that's a way too many dudes to even like wife up for sure. That's nothing I would never
do
like that.
Anything, see, it's disgusting, but if you marry a virgin, your chance of divorce within 7 years is like 5%.
Oh, I've seen the Institute of
like you've seen the chart. Like as soon as it gets to 3, it goes from 5% to something like 35% after 3 dudes. And they stop collecting the data after like 11 or 12 dudes. Like the chart just keeps going up, right? So I mean, if you're dealing with a chick that's been with 20 guys, like that's
there's zero chance she's no. I couldn't agree more. But one of the things maybe it's just like the culture, but I feel like girls like today, and I could be completely wrong, just have a higher body count than maybe when that study was conducted, because that was an early 2000 study. Yeah, like I think
it's true, and a lot of people get mad at me because they're like, "Oh, Rich, you're adding to the problem because you're talking to a guy right now with a chick that's FWB." It's like, yeah, dude, but she's banging like 20 other dudes. Like, just like it doesn't matter, at this stage, right?
Yeah,
this is just what you're dealing with, and that's what women have been told to do, and they've been told to do that for decades now because feminism said you go girl, and men and women can do the exact same thing.
Bullshit. Yeah,
right. So you're going to run into a lot of that. Now there are good girls out there still. Like there are some, conventionally feminine, virgin women that are in their 20s. There's not a lot of them, but if you want to be able to pick from that inventory, if your long-term plan is kids or a wife or anything like that, you better be a man worth your salt, because there's going to be other guys out there that are going to be better than you. They're going to scoop them all up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I read your book. I completely agree. I guess mostly, like I said, the biggest thing was like how do I go about like keeping her around if I want to keep her around, even though like she's not.
I just wouldn't worry about it. I would just say, look, this is where I'm at. I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Maybe I might be in the future, but this is where I'd like to keep things. And if that doesn't work for her, then it doesn't work for her. Jaren's in the chat. Actually, Jaren's a bit of a chat here.
Jaren Scott, yeah. No, I followed you pretty closely. So, yeah.
Yeah. Set some clear expectations with the girls at all times. You'll be golden. You'll be surprised how many will stick around. Sans commitment. You might get some that'll walk, that'll like sort of shit test you, be like, well, that's fine that I'm out. And then you'll get like a text like a week or 2 later and they come back.
Yeah.
Just make sure like, you're not exposing yourself to any kind of disease or anything like that. If you
I mean, well, this is what she said to me, which I take it for a grain of salt, but she goes, listen, you're the only guy I want to see. I want to, like, I don't want to sleep with anybody else. And she said that bluntly. And I was like, listen, I appreciate it. I don't know if that's where I'm at. We'll talk about that another time.
Just say that's great. That's exactly where I would want you.
Yeah.
If we're being intimate, then that's exactly where I want you.
Yeah.
I don't want to poison the well. I don't want to share. That's exactly where I want you.
Sweet.
So you keep doing that. Then I'll keep seeing you.
Yeah, I guess, and then maybe a suggestion. Like I've looked up, I've watched your video, and I've watched Rolo's video on like why body count matters. I don't know if like maybe it's like it's a style of a suggestion, but I've watched like other like content that have done it as well. But I think you do a really good job of maybe like having a video that shows the graphs. I don't know if you have one that I haven't seen that shows the graphs and dives a little bit deeper into the studies themselves. That I think for me, like I've talked to my guy friends about it and they care about it, but they don't care about it as much. And I've shown them the studies and I've talked to them about the studies and they start to care more. But I know from all the videos of yours that I've watched, I think you do a really good job. So I don't know if you have a video that does that I missed.
Yeah, I think there's only one study that they've done and it's a little bit outdated and they stopped collecting the data at like 11 or 12 or something like that. It might be worth a revisit. So maybe I'll do another video on it and see if there's any new information. But thanks for the tip, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. I really appreciate it, Rich. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks, man. Take care. All right, let's do one last one. I've got like 5 minutes. Il, I think. I don't know. Il. I'll give it to you, Il.
Good evening, Rich. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Jesus, I look tired. I just did some midterms. I'm a nursing student on the other side of Canada, and I am just curious about one thing. So, say if you enter that profession and you want to provide certain services other than just work at a certain place, or say you would like to build a contract with an entity, right, like a hospital or something, what are the things you should look for in your environment where you are in terms of what people need or what the facility needs, or like how do you find these things, or how do you pay attention to these things?
So you're asking me how to be a better nurse?
No, kind of like
what's the goal here, though?
How to become an entrepreneur in a profession that you chose. You know what I mean? Like if you can provide something other than like some people open up a botox clinic, right, or something like that.
Okay, so like, have you gotten licensed yet? Like, are you doing the job yet, or are you still in school?
No. I'm actually, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm close to finishing.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I would spend a year, 2 years. 2 years would be sufficient for you to see enough. And while you're doing the job for a year to 2 years, look around for opportunities. Look where people do things inefficiently. Look where you might be able to offer a solution to a problem. And it doesn't necessarily have to be within your scope or your field of work. You can steal it from somewhere else. You might take it from an IT company. You might take it from the automotive industry. You see what I'm saying? But while you're doing the job, just don't go through the motions of punching the clock, taking care of the patients, leaving at the end of the day, like, doing the motions, because that's what most people do. Like, that's what plebs do. I mean, if you're actually thinking about, okay, so how do I take advantage of this license, of this, this degree, this knowledge that I have, and now offer more so I can make more and become more? Spend the time between, what it is that you're doing when you've got spare time, thinking about that. Keep a notepad, jot down some notes and figure out what your thing will be and leave, and then just get it going. Look, are you going to be a nurse practitioner or a nurse, or
a registered nurse?
Registered nurse.
Yeah, I'd be assigned.
So, I mean, there's clinics that make decent money doing IV drips, NAD, vitamin, glutathione, phosphocholine drips, all kinds of IV work, which I assume that you can do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can specialize.
Okay, so you've got that as an option. You can offer ancillary services around that with anti-aging. Like, anti-aging is big. Like, older people with money don't want to age. They will spend money on not aging. So,
right, because time is essential in our life, right?
Yeah. It's easy for rich people to make more money. It's not easy for them to buy more time. So you can sell them more time with health services. If you know what I'm saying. That's what I would be doing. But work in the field for about a year to 2 years. See how it all works. Look what they do wrong. See what the systems are, the governing bodies, how they monitor whenever they do audits. If there's something going sideways, within a company, if they fuck something up. Like, spend some time in the field so that you understand it. Really pay attention. And if you want to get better access, you know, supervisors, managers, owners, whoever say, you know, what can I do to be more useful around here? If you don't have kids, if you don't have a family, you know, spend some extra time, do it on the weekends, see if they can give you extra duties, if they can give you more insight. Like that's how you'll level up. You see what I'm saying?
Excellent.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes absolutely makes sense, because that's what I want to do.
Cool.
I just want to like pay attention to what's going on in between the lines.
Good
And
for you, man. You got a
yeah,
bright future with that thinking.
thank you so much. Thank you for your feedback, and love your show. Been paying attention. It's fantastic. Have a
See
good
you,
night.
brother. Thanks. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap up on that note. I'm going to be away on vacation next week. I'm going to bring my laptop. So if I have a decent enough connection, maybe I'll do an all Q&A show next Monday night. But I'll make an announcement on social media and I'll let you know what it looks like when I get down to where I'm at. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below, like button, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the outro reel, check out some of the links, and we'll see you guys very soon. All right, guys, if you enjoyed that podcast, make sure you visit my website at richcooper.ca to learn more about my courses, my book, The Unplugged Alpha, community, or booking me for private coaching. Also, if you are a Canadian with $15,000 or more of credit card debt and what you are doing right now isn't paying off the balances, then visit totaldebtfreedom.ca and hit get a free quote to see if you qualify to settle your credit card debt for less than you owe today over the next 48 months. Make sure you check out the top pinned comment on YouTube for all the links mentioned during the show. Peace.